Hey everybody, John here, obviously. And I've been thinking about this for quite a while, and recent events in the news seem to provide an opportunity to bring this topic up again. As you know, Trump has banned critical race theory being taught as a training thing within U.S. government and U.S. government-funded institutions in the United States, and that's excellent. Critical race theory is a completely poisonous, well, it's a false ideology, and it's poisonous, designed to divide people against each other. It's designed to fracture communities and put people at odds with one another based on race, or based even on perception of race. He's also made a recent announcement that I'm not sure is law, but he's done it over Twitter, I think. He has said that foreign nationals who want to immigrate to the United States will be barred from doing so if they are an official or a member of a communist party in their country of origin. So communists not welcome. I guess communist citizens, are still welcome, but communist officials, party members, are not, because those people are there specifically to advance communism. Fair enough. We look at the history of the 20th century. At every single time communism has been tried in any form, it results in mass starvation, economic collapse, mass murder, death squads, and a unmeasurable increase in human suffering. It is 100% reliable. It works every time. And so, yeah, I can see that being quite a reasonable position to take. Communist officials or Communist Party members, just stay the F out. Which means that I want to talk again about Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Now, you have almost certainly seen video footage or news coverage of the peaceful protests, which are actually violent riots and arson and burning of buildings, destruction of private property, which, by the way, destruction of private property or elimination of privately owned small businesses, particularly by immigrant families, isn't just incidental. It isn't just carelessness on the part of BLM or Antifa or any of these peaceful violent riots. It's actually an explicit tactic, and the reason is private property or increase in private wealth of an individual is an extension of the individual. It is part of the idea of the individual as a sovereign, of the importance of the individual person as the basic unit of society. Because if you can advance as an individual, if you can increase, your wealth or increase your prosperity, the things that you accumulate, your house or a small business or privately owned items, those are symbolically representative of you as the individual. And if the lefty, communist, Marxist, feminist rioters, bandits, looters, and so on, can squash out the individual, that advances their goal. They're identitarians. They want to view you as a symbol of the group that you're in, not an individual person. That's why the whole progressive stack is we care about groups, not about people. That you are a token of your group. It's to eliminate the individual, and destruction of private property falls right in line with that. It's not just incidental, and it's not just, I'm going to steal from you because I'm a thief, although there's that too. But getting back to Black Lives Matter, Antifa, we've seen the riots, and we know that these riots are mostly Black Lives Matter, some Antifa, and some weird combination of the two in many cases. But we also know, at least we should know by now, that the ideology informing this violence and the hatred is fundamentally a Marxist feminist ideology. Black Lives Matter's website, which they've scrubbed now, they've scrubbed all this content, had an explicitly Marxist feminist mission statement. And Antifa are clearly Marxist and feminist. When we look at the way the police handle these guys, they get arrested from time to time, sometimes in big batches, and then they get released again. And it seems like they're being handled with kid gloves, where any other group engaged in this kind of violent criminal, seemingly organized violent criminal behavior would be absolutely hammered by the justice system, whereas these guys are being handled with kid gloves. And that is, I think, because we're treating them societally, we're treating these violent criminal ding-dongs as if they are soft-headed mental incompetence. We look at it as mental illness or mass psychosis. And in a way it is. But the thing that nobody talks about, the thing that the media never talk about, and even people pointing out the problems, the independent commentators pointing out the problems, simply seem not to be talking about, is that the ideology informing all this violence isn't just happening because people are stupid. It's being explicitly taught. It's being trained into them. The education system, the high schools, elementary schools, and colleges and universities have changed their mission, which used to be educating citizens and creating productive, happy people able to compete in the world, and they are now creating what are, for lack of a better word, saboteurs. And the thing that they're sabotaging is Western civilization. When you hear feminists say we must destroy the patriarchy or dismantle the patriarchy, they're talking about dismantling Western civilization, all of its institutions, and razing it to the ground. So, and I've gone roundabout to get here. I began talking about the banning of critical race theory and the exclusion of Communist Party members from the roles of immigration in the United States. Maybe now is the moment when we can begin to wake up to the fact that this violence and criminality and destruction and hatred being spread isn't just a naturally occurring phenomenon. It is being trained into young people by one of our social institutions, the university, the education system. And it's being done with our money. We're paying for it. Our taxes pay for that. So can we become aware that our money is being used to turn our kids into violent, psychotic criminals? And maybe we can stop paying for that. I'm not saying we need to radically turn society upside down. It's just that maybe once we realize that these movements are communist and feminist, that they are violent, and that their actual goal, which they are not shy about sharing, is to burn Western civilization to the ground. How about we put all these thoughts together, realize what's going on, and stop allowing our money to pay for people to attack us? Or is that too much to ask? I'll be talking about this again and again and again, and hopefully more people will begin to see it and also talk about it. Anyway, thanks very much for watching or listening if you weren't watching. Thanks for helping support the channel, which you can do in the low bar by clicking the subscribe star or the Patreon links. Thanks for listening, and as always, have a lovely day.